Okay, now this spin a block is going to make you guys laugh really hard because there's so many things in here that you guys have not seen because these are older videos from last year this time. And I didn't start posting on YouTube at all until I would say about May-ish. So you're going to see some stuff that y'all did not see over here at YouTube. And I think it's going to be really funny because there's so many things that were going on at this time. And it's just so funny. And this is also around the time that her documentary had came out. So you guys are going to see like my reactions to that too. No, Papas, don't touch it. All right. So you guys, let me know what you guys think of this because it's going to be so funny. To me, looking back at this, I'm laughing. Gypsy's aunts and uncles were interviewed, and this is what they had to say.
That's when we realized Dee Dee's doing to Gypsy what Mom did to her.
When Dee Dee was born, my mom said that she came along with all these sicknesses, heart murmur and stuff like that.
My mom would always make us go play outside, and it was like, oh, well, your sister's not feeling good. Your sister's got an upset stomach. She's got a headache. Y'all go play outside. Be quiet. Leave her alone, you know.
Dee Dee's mother did the same things to her that Dee Dee would later do to Gypsy.
As she got older, Dee Dee couldn't get excited. Dee Dee couldn't jump around. She couldn't play outside. She couldn't overheat herself.
She was not allowed to assist with chores. If Dee Dee didn't want to do it, well, then she didn't have to because the heart murmur. It was used like a crutch for a long time. But Dee Dee was basically not as sick as it was to believe.
Dee Dee's mother kept her sick to keep her close and have control over her. She would spend the most time with Dee Dee, treating her different from her siblings, and give her everything she wanted, and made sure the attention was always on her.
We didn't get to go to college, but Dee Dee went to college. We didn't get a car. When we were growing up, Dee Dee got the car. If you wanted something, you had to go out and earn it. But Dee Dee just wanted it and got it.
Dee Dee was into beauty pageants, and my mama went out and bought her the prettiest dress, the prettiest shoes. She was just all about the attention.
The desire for attention followed Dee Dee throughout her life, and got to its worst point when she had Gypsy, and started to make up fake illnesses for attention and sympathy.
Now, how crazy is that? But you also think about it, I don't know if you all remember, but when Gypsy first got out, there was a doctor that was saying that she probably shouldn't have any kids due to the fact of the way she was raised. It might be a bit much. And typically, people that suffer from parents that had Munchausen by proxy generally don't parent very well, is what he was saying. And I think it's possible for you to parent, but I think Gypsy is a prime example, and her mom as well, because it was, basically they did what they were taught, or would do what she was taught, rather. But what are your thoughts? Yes, there is documentation, and at the time of his arrest and the crime, he was on disability. So that's the part that I think is really mind-boggling to me. There's proof he was on SSI for his disability. He was literally collecting a check for it. So the fact that he got charged with everything and she took a plea, I'm telling you, this is like such a low down situation. And like I said, I'm not going to say that I all the way blame Gypsy because she did grow up with a mom that was a master manipulator and she learned that, right? But I do think that he should have some grace. And I think that the way things have went, it's unfortunate. And I also think it sets the stage for other people to be manipulated and used the way he was. And because people don't really understand how people with autism react to things or are easily coerced, depending on how up on the spectrum they are, people get so confused and say, but, he still did this, he's still this, he's still that. Yeah, but he had a disability, a diagnosed disability that he was collecting state funds from and federal funds from. Like, you don't really feel like something was clearly wrong? This man is not a man that was competent enough to withstand first degree, let alone the interrogation. The whole thing is crooked. And if anyone wants to debate that with me, I would urge you to go see the interrogation. The interrogation was extremely telling. And at the end of the day, he deserves a second chance. Like I said, it's not that I'm saying that, he didn't do a crime. Yeah, he did a crime. But he should not have been charged with first degree. And if anything, I believe Gypsy should have. Even though, she had circumstances. She was not in imminent danger at the time. But, she's out, and, I just hope that she shows the world and kids that are coming behind her that there is redemption after, and maybe she'll change her tune and, try to really do better. So a lot of you have been tagging me in the trailer for Gypsy Rose's new docuseries. Here's my opinions, but let's listen to the docuseries trailer first.
You look so good.
You just can't stop staring at me, huh?
You want some fries?
No, I just want to
Want
just
me?
be right now.
Right,
I'm just
you
kind of
want me to
being.
leave you be?
No, I don't want you to leave. I'm trying to process.
Okay.
I don't want to eat on the bed.
I ain't the only thing we're gonna be doing on the bed.
You're so bad.
I know, you love it.
I do want to start a family. Like, I'm not getting any younger. I want at least 2 kids. So, realistically, we can't wait that long. I feel so comfortable.
You're the one that feels comfortable.
I want to lay down.
Lay down.
Oh, yeah, that feels nice.
I just want to hold you. I missed you.
Okay, that's all wild. Like, her first moments out of prison, she obviously wanted to be on camera, which I think is very bizarre considering she lived all this time behind bars. This was a moment that she would have with her husband, and she brought the cameras. That kind of shows you where she was at from the beginning. This was all staged. I also feel as if her speaking about kids right now, when she is not 100% there in her mental, is really gonna do herself a disservice, as well as any kids that she brings onto this earth. She's got to do better when it comes to that. I really think that she needs to get some sort of help, and they should do marriage counseling and so many other things before they even consider bringing kids into this world. But this is just my thoughts. Y'all might not agree, but that's my opinion. So I actually spoke to the producers of this show, and they told me they did not expect for Gypsy Rose to go so viral and for her to do so well in terms of social and people wanting to watch her films. I think part of the reason why they didn't expect this is because of the nature of her crime and the reality of it. When they said that to me, it made me realize that I wasn't crazy. And the reality of the situation is that they weren't expecting people to really fall for this, but people have. And that kind of makes it where you kind of wonder about the world we live in and how we're raising our kids, how life is going, and who we are basically giving fame to. I feel the same way about Yolanda Saldivar. I feel like she should not get the fame that she's going to end up getting from this video. And when I say fame, whether it's good or bad. But here's the thing, the reality is she is going to get paid, whether it's her family getting paid directly for this or her. And the same thing with Gypsy. This, in reality, is just insanity. And if Gypsy had unalived her mom for self-defense, do I really think that we should be giving her fame for it? No, because I think it's sending the wrong message. I think overall, across the board, we're sending the wrong message. And having that conversation with the producers really kind of made me feel as if we're doing things wrong. And it just shows how out of touch this world really is, which is insanity. Look, I'm not saying she's not human and at the end of the day, she doesn't have a regular life. Yes, she does, but should we glorify it is really the question. And I think we're glorifying something in someone that we shouldn't. I think we should learn the lesson that she should have learned. And also, the reality of this entire situation is that we, as a society, we need to reevaluate ourselves. We need to reevaluate what we deem as celebrities or people that we are making famous, because we can make anyone famous that we want to. And that's the power that each and every one of us have. And we can make them good famous or bad famous. Truthfully, I think that Gypsy should just be living her life. And, whatever happens, happens. Because I do think karma's going to come back around. Because one thing about karma is she is a V. And you know that. And when I tell you when karma comes around, she comes around swinging. And I think a lot of times people are not expecting that. And I will say this again. I am not wishing bad or good on her. I want her to get whatever her karma should be. I am not hoping karma passes her by. I'm just hoping whatever her karma is, she gets. And like I said, I know karma comes back around and she's a beast. Now, as far as us turning all of these people that are coming out of prison into celebrities is insane. It just shows like how off things are. We really need to get things back on track because these kids in high school, junior high school, are all watching us, and they're young and impressionable, and they're seeing what's going on, and they're really questioning the society. And if we think that this is the best way for the future, we're really screwing them. Because, I mean, look at it. We're literally praising someone that wasn't in imminent danger, that unalived their mom, and we've made her into a millionaire. You don't think some kids are going to say to themselves, you know what, I want to be a millionaire. And if I have to sit it out just for 8 years to become one, I will. And instead of me going to go seek help just to actually unalive her, or unalive my parent, or whoever, that might be a better option because I can come out and start a documentary and have a reality TV show, become famous, and make a lot of money. I can sacrifice that time. And that's the reality. People are going to start to feel that way. And I'm sure after this, we're going to see crime in the youth almost skyrocket. And that's the sad reality. What I also think is strange is Gypsy never really seemed like she wanted to be with her husband. Even on that video that they just aired yesterday, it seemed very odd. It seemed as if, you know, he was there and she wanted to be nice, but she didn't really want to be with him. Now, of course, when she got the D, things could have been different just because, you know, she hasn't had someone in so long and all that. You know, she might be feeling different about things, but I think at the end of the day, when the dust all settles, she's not really into him. And you could kind of see that even just in the videos, even social media, even the way he seems really insecure, which I think is also very scary because insecure people tend to do a lot of things to you when they feel threatened. And I think he kind of almost knows that he's not going to be around forever. And I don't know if it's just because of the issues that they've had since she's been out, or just because she had cheated on him while she was in prison. Or, I mean, what is really cheating, honestly, because she was in prison. And the reason why people love Gypsy Rose, is it because she's a victim? Is it because they identify with being a victim? Is it because they put themselves in her shoes, even though her situation is completely different from theirs? Those are all questions that we really have to ask ourselves as a society, because I think that's really what's going on, is people are empathizing with her because of their own situations, instead of seeing her as an individual and her situation as an individual and seeing their situation as an individual as well. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. Is I really think people are just projecting how they feel on her, and they kind of want to make her a superhero out of their own trauma, instead of seeing their trauma as their trauma and her trauma as her trauma and her situation as her situation. I think part of one of the major things in this that we're missing, or just society on a whole right now, is the lack of accountability that we hold people for. And because we deem them as victims, we don't deem them as perpetrators, no matter how much they perpetrate. And when you really think about that, that's extremely scary. We have to hold everybody accountable because everybody has their part. Whether or not they're right or wrong, everybody has a part, and we have to accept that. Sadly, I don't think the world, Gypsy, her family, or anyone around her is really holding her accountable for her part. And that's my fear for the society we're in today, and the lessons that we are teaching these kids. It's not really about Gypsy in and of itself, because she is one person, but she's one person that's being idolized by our youth. However, I just really want to urge you guys to be careful about who you idolize. Be careful about who you let your kids idolize. And be careful about what you are thinking is acceptable. Yes, things happen to people, and people are victims of situations. But we shouldn't idolize people for a crime, no matter why they did it. It shouldn't be idolized, because at the end of the day, it's still a crime. Unless it's self-defense, and direct self-defense, it's different. This was premeditated, and this was definitely a crime of passion. You can tell that by the amount of ab wounds that Didi had. So I think we need to take that a little more serious, and stop blowing that off just because we feel like, oh, she was young, she didn't know any better. Yeah, we shouldn't be calling her Queen Gypsy. We shouldn't be doing any of that. At the end of the day, if she's a victim, she's a victim, but she's also a perpetrator, and we really need to be honest with that. And I think a lot of people are acting as if Nick having autism on the level that he did, on a spectrum, rather, is not a big deal. It is. And you can be smart and have autism and not understand social cues and not understand how to operate. That's not the same, and I think people are getting that wrong. We need to be realistic about that, you know? And I feel like people aren't being realistic about that. At the end of the day, Nick's voice should be heard, regardless whether you feel like it or not, because that's part of the American Constitution. Why is it just okay for us to only hear Gypsy's story? It's not. No matter what you think, everyone should have a fair trial. And that's why I say we shouldn't really dismiss this appeal, because we should want him to have a fair trial. Because if he doesn't have one, what if it's you one day? And something happened and there's a complete misunderstanding and you never actually got a fair trial. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think we're distorted in how we're thinking? Do you think we're setting a bad example for the youth? Do you think society is viewing things all wrong? Do you think we're not being realists? Do you think we're possibly being delusional? I mean, these are all questions we need to ask ourselves. Not only just ourselves, the world. Hope you guys enjoyed your morning talk with me. I'm getting my hair done later, so you might not see so many videos of me today because I have to go to work, and then when I get off work, I'm getting my hair done. So you guys can tag me and stuff, and I'll respond, but I might not respond till later this evening, more like 9, 10 o'clock. But you never know, I might respond before then. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this because I know there's lots of moments in here when I look back, I'm like, it was so wild this time last year. Drop your thoughts down below. I read y'all's comments. I know it's super busy. I have a lot going on, but I try to read a lot of the comments. So drop your comments down below. Let me know how you guys feel. Bye-bye for now.